Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I do appreciate you have to take a broad view of income and expenditure to make this the great city that it is. But I'm here tonight just to speak briefly to urge you to keep remembering some of the little people in the city. And there are a couple of points in your long-term plan that I'd like to just speak very briefly to. One is the proposed closing of the Riccarton Road bus lounges, and the other one is the reduction in opening hours of some of our libraries rather. And it may appear that they're two dissimilar points, but I have the same concern for both, and that is retaining a service that improves the life of the more vulnerable sections of Christchurch society. So, for example, if you walk into any library, there are many, many, many different sorts of people using libraries at any time. But in particular, I'm concerned about those young people at school or post-school who don't have internet access at home. The Ministry of Education found that out last year when it tried to roll out laptops to school pupils during the lockdown. We need those young people need those resources, internet access, to be able to do their homework, to be able to make use of the skilled and knowledgeable staff that are there. And reducing the library opening hours is not going to help them. As regards the Riccarton Road bus lounges, Christchurch residents do have to change buses if they're going to move from the central city to some of the more outlying suburbs. And you can spend up to half an hour waiting for your second bus to arrive. And the secure, warm places, which are the lounges in Riccarton Road, I feel are essential for more vulnerable people in our society, such as, for example, the elderly who no longer can drive, particularly at night or even in the afternoons because of just how old they are. The last thing I'd like to mention very briefly, the third point, is the reserves. I love the fact that the long-term plan is talking about the central city to the surf, to the sea, going along the Avon River. But every suburb and community in Christchurch has got reserves, playgrounds and so on. And I encourage you to actually help us maintain those reserves. In other words, we'll supply the labour, you supply the plants and the mulching and such fantastic people as employees as Heidi Wilton. But there is and that gives us neighbours a reason to get together for short-term friendly projects. The long-term effect, of course, is not only to make sure that community spirit is maintained, but we will actually eventually, hopefully, get the reintroduction of New Zealand native birds into our neighbourhoods. It's sort of like having the pandemic lockdown without the angst of health and economic issues when you're encouraging community gets together. So I urge the council to focus on providing us with the help, to help you rather. In other words, use us.
That's just music to my ears. Thank you very much. It was a fantastic submission.